Hi, Terry back again. Hope I find you well, and welcome to yet another video. And talking of videos, please watch my giveaway video. It's not long left before the draw on the 7th of May on Triple G Comics channel. And I can give that box away that's behind me there. The only reason for the question mark is I don't know the address it's going to yet. Plus, it would be nice to have at least 100 views on my 100th video. It's getting close, but it would be nice if some extra people did watch it, get to 100. It's just my OCD, I suppose. I'll leave the links below, and thank you if you would do it. That'd be brilliant. Right, it's Batman time again. Batman 1974, Detective Comics 1973 and 74. There's only a few issues from these years as Batman went bi-monthly and Detective only had 7 issues that year. So I've added 74 to even them up for the next video. And right, off we go. We start with Detective 431, January 73, covered by Mike Kaluta and Gaspar Saladino. And we have Batman in This Murder Has Been Censored. It's written by Danny O'Neill, art by Irv Novick and Murphy Anderson. Bruce has yet another vacation spoilt by getting involved solving a murder as Batman. And Jason Bard is in Crime on My Hands, and a bartender to whom Jason once gave a business card turns up dead with a message written on it. So Bard seeks his killer. This was written by Frank Robbins and the art was by Don Heck and Murphy Anderson. Trivia this issue, Bob Rozakis has a letter on the letters page. Then we have Detective 432, February 73. Dick Giordano and Gaspar Saladino with the cover. Batman is in The Great Rip-Off Mystery. Batman sets out to crack the case of a murdered courier carrying a briefcase of torn halves of paper currency. This was written by Frank Robbins and the art was by Bob Brown and Murphy Anderson. Second tale in this issue, The Atom. Suddenly the witness vanished. This was written by Elliot S. Maggin and the art by Murphy Anderson. And the trivia, Mike W. Barr is in the letters page this time. And next we have Batman 254. Nick Cardy and Tajania Wood doing the cover. And this is the first of the Batman 100-page spectaculars. There's 2 new stories and then a bunch of oldies just for 50 cents. The new tale, King of Gotham Jungle, written by Frank Robbins, art by Irv Novick and Dick Giordano. From way back in World's Best Comics #1, soon to become World's Finest with #2, #1 from March 1941. The story title, The Witch and the Manuscript of Doom, with Batman and Robin starring. Written by Bill Finger, and Bob Kane and George Roussos did the art. Then, 49 issues later, number 50, February 1951, we have Batman and Robin again, and this time the story is titled Bullet Hole Club. Writer David Verne Reed, and the artists were Dick Sprang and Charles Paris. Then a little newer from Detective 334, December 64, The Man Who Stole from Batman. This was written by Gardner Fox and the pencil links by Sheldon Moldorf and Joe Geller. This story we meet the Grasshopper Gang for the first time, also the voice and first off-panel appearance of The Outsider. And then Robin in a new tale entitled The Phenomenal Memory of Luke Graham. Elliot S. Maggin writes, Dick Dillon and Murphy Anderson with the art. And then back to the oldies with The Son of the Joker, an imaginary story written by Alfred, helped by Bill Finger and Sheldon Moldorf. And the last story in this issue is The Guardian of the Bat Signal, from Batman number 85, August 54. And it was written by Edmund Hamilton and the art was by Bob Kane and Charles Paris. Then we have Detective 4. Then we have 433, March 73, cover by Dick Giordano and Gaspar Saladino. We have Batman in The Killer in the Smoke, another tale from Frank Robbins, art by Dick Dillon and Dick Giordano this time. Batman, with the help of Commissioner Gordon, try to uncover the mystery of a strangler who strikes during smoggy days and throttles his victims with a yellow ascot. There are 3 victims, and 3 is the clue to solving the mystery. Then we have Jason Bard in The Case of the Forged Face, and he must track down would-be assassin of a senator who has impersonated Bard in 3 cities. It's also written by Frank Robbins, art this time by Don Heck with Murphy Anderson. And we have Mike W. Barr on the letters page again. Then we have Detective 434, April 73, covered by Mike Kaluta and Gaspar Saladino. We have Batman Tale, The Spook That Stalked Batman. This is the Spook's first appearance. His real name was Valentin Calabanez and stayed around annoying Batman until Batman 657, November 2006. And Frank Robbins wrote this tale, and the art by Irv Novick and Dick Giordano. Then featuring Hawkman, Riddle of the Red-Handed Robber, a curious case of disappearing loot when the robber is caught. But his booty, strangely, isn't there when they get back to the police station. As this was written by E. Nelson Bridwell, pencils by Rich Butler, and inks by Dick Giordano. And yes, another missive from Mr. Barr. And we have Batman 255, April 74 cover date, with Nick Cardy, Neil Adams, Tejania Wood and Gaspar Saladino with the cover. And the only new story this issue is The Moon of the Wolf. Len Wein wrote it, Neil Adams does the pencils, and Dick Giordano does the inks. And then we have the first Batman from Detective Comics 235, September 56, where Batman finds film of his father dressed as a Batman. Bill Finger writes, Sheldon Moldorf and Stan Kay with the art. And then from Batman 22, April 44, The Duped Domestics. And that was written by Alvin Schwartz, pencils by Bob Kane and inks by Jerry Robinson. And then from Detective 363, May 1967, The True False Face of Batman, written by Gardner Fox, pencils by Carmine Infantino and the inks by Sid Green. From Star Spangled Comics 123, December 51, we have Robin in Crazy Quilt Comes Back, written by Ed Herron and Jim Mooney with the art. And this was actually Crazy Quilt's last appearance. And then the last story of this issue was The Outsider Strikes Again, written by John Broome, art by Sheldon Moldorf and Joe Giller. Batman 256, June 74. Nick Cardy, Tejania Wood and Gaspar Saladino with the cover. First we have a new story, Catwoman's Circus Caper, and this is written by Dennis O'Neill, pencils by Irv Novick, inks by Dick Giordano and the colours by Jerry Serp. And from Batman 35, June 46, we have Dinosaur Island, written by Bill Finger, pencils by Paul Cooper and inks by Ray Burnley. And then another new tale, If Bruce Wayne Had Not Become the Batman. And our glimpses are shown of 5 alternate universes where Bruce Wayne was inspired to base his bat persona on the other animals and objects. We get the Scorpion, the Stingray, the Owl, the Shooting Star and the Iron Knight. And from World's Finest number 30, September 47, The Penny Plunderers. This was written by Bill Finger, pencils by Bob Kane, inks by Ray Burnley. This is the story that the giant penny you see in the Batcave came from. The penny's first appearance, so to speak. And from Batman number 12, September 42, Brothers in Crime, written by Don C. Cameron, art by Jerry Robinson and George Roussos. And then a tale from Detective Comics 158, April 1950, The 1001 Trophies of Batman. This tale has the first appearance of Dr. Doom, just over 12 years before he appears in Fantastic Four number 5. I'm joking. It's a different Doom. This one dies in this issue anyway. It was written by Edmund Hamilton, pencils by Bob Kane and inks by Charles Paris. And rounding out the issue from Batman 119, October 58, The Secret of Batman Island, writer Bill Finger, Sheldon Moldorf and Charles Paris with the art. And then we have 435, July 73, covered by Dick Giordano and Gaspar Saladino. The Spook's back in The Spook Strikes Again, but Batman does eventually capture him. But when he gets him to the police station, his fingerprints are verified, and it seems he was a convicted murderer who had been executed years prior. This was written by Frank Robbins, the art by Irv Novick and Dick Giordano. And Jason Bard appears in The Case of the Dead on Target, and Jason investigates the in-air murder of a skydiver. Frank Robbins with writing and art this time. Batman 257 next. August 74. Nick Cardy, Tajania Wood and Gaspar Saladino with the art this time. And we start with Hail Emperor Penguin, written by Dennis O'Neill, pencils of Novick and inks Dick Giordano. From Detective Comics 374, April 68, we have Hunt for a Robin Killer by Gardner Fox, pencils by Gil Kane, inks by Sid Green. Then way back in Batman number 30, August 1945, we have Ali Babel and the 14 Peeves, a character I don't think they will get away with today. Writer Bill Finger, art by Dick Sprang. And then further back from Batman 22, April 44, we have Alfred in a tale called Conversational Clue. Mort Weisinger writes and art by Jerry Robinson. A tale barely 5 years old now from Detective Comics 385, March 69. Die Small, Die Big, written by Robert Kanigher, pencils Bob Brown, inks Joe Geller. And then from back in time again, Rackety Rack's Racket from Batman 32, December 45. They don't make titles like that anymore, do they? Anyway, that was written by Don C. Cameron and Dick Sprang with the art. I don't know who had this silly idea. Was it you? Well, it certainly wasn't me. Anyway, Detective Comics 436, September 73. Nick Cardy and Gaspar Saladino with the art. Batman is in The Night Has a Thousand Fears. Written by Frank Robbins, pencils by Bob Brown, inks by Frank Giacoya. Batman develops a fear of the dark when he accidentally sniffs a packet of drugs a smuggler has planted in Bruce Wayne's luggage. He has to overcome this fear to find the criminal that has framed Bruce Wayne. Then Elongated Man in The Sign of the Two Fingers. Charming. Written by Elliot S. Maggin, Dick Giordano with the art. Ralph has to solve the mystery of an invisible dog called Frasier and is forced to commit robbery or see his wife killed. Trivia. This is the last issue of Detective Comics, edited by Julius Schwartz after 110 issues. The editorial job is passed to Archie Goodwin. Batman 258, October 74 cover date. Nick Cardy, Tajania Wood and Gaspar Saladino with the cover. Threat of the Two-Headed Coin. Denny O'Neill writing, Irv Novick and Dick Giordano with the art. This story mentions for the first time Arkham Asylum, yet they use the term Arkham Hospital in this issue. There you go. To the 40s, from Detective 61, March 1941, The Three Racketeers, and it's written by Bill Finger, pencils by Bob Kane, and the inkers are Jerry Robinson and George Roussos. And then over 300 issues later, Detective 368, October 67, we have The Seven Wonder Crimes of Gotham City. Gardner Fox writing, Sheldon Moldolf and Joe Giller doing the art. Back to the 40s again. Batman 26, December 44 this time. Title, 20-Ton Robbery. We have Don C. Cameron writing and the artist is Dick Sprang. The Guardian of 100 Cities, written by Bill Finger, pencils Sheldon Moldolf and inks by Charles. Then rounding the issue out, still in the 50s, just, from World's Finest number 43, January 1950, The Man with 1,000 Eyes. And this story was written by Bill Finger, with art by Bob Kane and Charles Paris. Detective 437, November 73, cover by Jim Aparo and Gaspar Saladino. This is a reintroduction of the original Detective trade dress from number 2, way back when. Well, April 1937 to be exact. It was designed originally by Ira Schnapp. In this issue we have Batman in death mask, and Archie Goodwin, the new editor, also writes the story. Art and lettering by Jim Aparo. Batman has to work out whether the curse of the South American god of death mask is true, or as a more human reason for the deaths happening. Archie Goodwin also writes this Manhunter tale, The Himalayan Incident. This is introducing Christine St. Clair, who appears off and on for the next 30 years. Art is by Walt Simonson. Christine is busy looking for Manhunter, not realising he has been under her nose all the time. Batman 259, December 74. cover by Nick Cardy and Daniel Wood. This first story was dedicated to Bill Finger, who had recently passed away, just 3 weeks before his 60th birthday. Obviously the co-creator of so many characters: Batman, Robin, Joker, Catwoman, Two-Face, Penguin, the first of Clayfaces, Riddler, Green Lantern, the original Alan Scott version, Wildcat, and Batgirl, the Betty Kane version, and I'm sure there are more. Right back to the issue. The story I spoke about, Night of the Shadow, written by Danny O'Neill and Irv Novick and Dick Giordano with the art. And then from Detective Comics 222, we have August 55, The Great Batman Swindle. Bill Finger writing, Dick Sprang pencils, Charles Paris inks. And then from Detective 165, November 50, The Strange Costumes of Batman. Edmund Hamilton writing this time, but Dick Sprang, Charles Paris still with the art chores. Back to the 40s, Batman number 29, June 45, Heroes by Proxy. Don C. Cameron writing, Dick Sprang with the pencils and inks, and Bob McKay with the colours. This story was actually Bob McKay's first DC work. Then from the 60s, Batman 177, December 65, Two Batman Too Many. Bill Finger writing, Sheldon Moldorf and Joe Geller doing the art. And the last story, it comes from Batman 120, December 58, The Failure of Bruce Wayne. Bill Finger writing, Sheldon Moldorf and Charles Paris are the artists. Right, the last 6 issues I'm showing you were bi-monthly and were 100 pages. The first 2 were 50 cents, the other 4 are 60 cents. There were 2 new stories and the book ending several oldies. Starting with Detective 438, Jan 74. Cover Mike Kaluta, Daniel Wood and Gaspar Saladino. And Batman was in A Monster Walks Wayne Manor. Archie Goodwin writing, Jim Aparo with the art and lettering. Then from Atom number 19, July 65, we have The World of the Magic Atom, written by Gardner Fox, art by Gil Kane and Sid Green. Then Hawkman and Hawkgirl from Brave and the Bold 44, November 62, The Men Who Moved the World, and this was written by Gardner Fox and the art by Joe Kubert. Then we have a Batman and Robin tale from Detective Comics 328, June 64, Gotham Gang lineup. Bill Finger writing, Sheldon Moldorf and Joe Geller with the art. Then Green Lantern, Paul Jordan from Green Lantern Volume 2, number 28, April 64, The House That Fought Green Lantern. Gardner Fox writing, Gil Kane and Joe Geller with the art. And then the second new story was The Manhunter File, again written by Archie Goodwin, and the art was by Walt Simonson. Detective 439, March 74, cover date. This is a well-shared cover. Art-wise, Neil Adams, Dick Giordano and Daniel Wood, along with Gaspar Saladino. And we have Batman in Night of the Stalker, written by Vin and Sal Amendola, along with Steve Englehart. Pencils and inks by Sal Amendola, and extra inks by Dick Giordano. Colours by Jerry Serp. And in this one, Batman is silent. From Flash Comics number 92, February 1948, Hawkman and Hawkgirl in Riddle of the Clown, written by Robert Kanigher, art by Joe Kubert. From Atom number 12, May 64, The Good Hunters of 49, written by Gardner Fox, art by Gil Kane and Sid Green. Edgar Allan Poe guest stars in this one. Then from More Fun Comics 66, April 41, we have Dr. Fate in The Leopard Girl, written by Gardner Fox, and everything else by Howard Sherman. Batman and Robin from Detective 336, Feb 65, Batman's Bewitched Nightmare. We are teased with a phone call from the outsider in this story. Written by Gardner Fox and the art by Sheldon Moldorf and Joe Geller. And from Detective 355, September 66, we have a tongue-twisting tale with the elongated man. The tantalising troubles of the tripod thieves. And this was written by Gardner Fox and the art by Carmine Infantino. Then another long title, not a tongue twister though. The Evil That Men Do Lives After Them. and this is from Kid Eternity number 3, September 46. Writer Joe Millard, pencils Peter Riss. The second new story, rounding out the issue, The Resurrection of Paul Kirk. Archie Goodwin writing and Walt Simonson with the art. Then we have issue 440, May 74. Jim Aparo, Tajania Wood and Gaspar Saladino with the cover. Batman in Ghost Mountain Midnight. Writer Archie Goodwin, pencil Sal Amendola and inks by Dick Giordano. Then we have an original Manhunter tale from Adventure Comics number 79, October 42. Written and penciled by his co-creator Jack Kirby, along with inks by the other co-creator Joe Simon, and the original title was Cobras of the Deep. And then from Hawkman number 3, September 64, The Fear That Haunted Hawkman. Gardner Fox writes, artist Murphy Anderson. Dollman features in $1 Million Corpse. He was the cover feature back on Feature Comics number 123, June 48. Written by William Woolfolk, pencil and links by John Spranger. Green Lantern Volume 1, number 37, April 49, with the original Alan Scott. In Too Many Suspects. This was written by Robert Kanigher, pencils Alex Toth, and inks Frank Giacoya. Then we have the tale that revealed who the outsider was, from Detective Comics 356, October 66. The inside story of the outsider, written by Gardner Fox, pencils Sheldon Moldorf, inks Joe Geller. And then the latest Manhunter tale, Rebellion, Archie Goodwin writing, and some more art from Walt Simonson. Then we have Detective 441, July 74. Jim Aparo, Tajania Wood and Gaspar Saladino with the cover. Batman and Robin are in Judgment Day. Writer Archie Goodwin, artist Howard Chaykin, and this story has the first appearance of Lieutenant Harvey Bullock. And Batman and Harvey's first encounter doesn't go down too well. From Plastic Man number 3, March 46, we have Woozy Winks Wanted for Murder. But it was originally called The Killing of Snoopy Hawks. Written by Joe Millard, art and letters by Jack Cole. Then a real old tale from Detective Comics 42, August 1940, and it's Batman and Robin in The Case of the Prophetic Pictures, written by Bill Finger, art Bob Kane and Jerry Robinson. Next, an Ibis the Invincible tale from Whiz Comics 95, March 1948. Holocaust, God of Destruction, writer William Woolfolk, and the art by Kurt Schaffenberger. And from House of Secrets 66, May 64, we have Eclipso in The Two Faces of Doom, writer Bob Haney, art and letters by... Then we have Crack Comics number 25, September 42. The Spider features in The Secret of Mouse Malone. Story and art by Paul Gustafson. Another Batman and Robin tale from long ago, Batman 38, December 46 to be exact. The Carbon Copy Crimes, written by Bill Finger, art by Jim Mooney. And rounding out this issue, the latest Manhunter adventure, Cathedral Perilous. Archie Goodwin, still our writer, and Walt Simonson, still our artist. Right, just 2 to go. This is certainly wearing me out. I don't know about you, but thank you for watching if you're still there. 442, September 74. Cover by Jim Aparo and Tajania Wood. Batman's new tale is The Death Flies the Haunted Sky, written by Archie Goodwin and art and letters by Alex Toth. Then from Star Spangled Comics 21, June 43, we have the Newsboy Legion in The House Where Time Stood Still, written by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, pencils by Jack Kirby, and the inks by Arturo Casanova. Next from Hawkman 10, November 65, Hawkman and Hawkgirl in The Magic Mirror Mystery, Gardner Fox writing and art by Murphy Anderson. Flash Comics 92, February 48, we have Black Canary in her first feature of her own. Larry Lance, her husband, is introduced, and the story was called The Huntress of the Highway. Written by Rob Kanigher, pencils by Carmine Infantino, inks by Joe Geller. Detective Comics 333 next, from November 64, and this gave us a elongated tale entitled The Robbery That Never Happened. Gardner Fox writing, pencils Carmine Infantino, and inks by Sid Green. Batman's Older Tale, Vanishing Village, from Batman 31, October 45, was written by Joseph Samachson, pencils by Jerry Robinson, and the inks and colours by George Roussos. And then from More Fun Comics number 68, June 41, Dr. Fate is immersed in murders in Baranga Marsh. Gardner Fox writes, Howard Sherman does everything else. And rounding out the issue, the penultimate Manhunter tale for this story arc, To Duel the Master. Archie Goodwin, of course, still writing, and Walt Simonson still with the art. And the last book, you'll be pleased to know, in this marathon, Detective 443, November 74 cover date. Jim Aparo, Tejania Wood, and Gaspar Saladino doing the art. First we have Batman and Manhunter together in Gotterdammerung, written by Archie Goodwin, art and letters by Walt Simonson. This is the end of Archie Goodwin's editorship on Detective. Next issue, Judy Sports comes back again. Right, and the old stories next from More Fun Comics 65, March 41. The Spectre in a story called Dr. Mephisto. Writer Jerry Siegel, art Bernard Bailey. All American Comics number 98. June 1948 is next, with Alan Scott's Green Lantern in The End of Sports, Robert Kanigher writing, Alex Toth with the art. Then we have the first appearance of the Creeper from Showcase 73, March 68, writer Steve Ditko and Don Siegel, articles by the jazzy Steve Ditko. And then rounding the issue out, jump back to September 43, Batman number 18, with Batman and Robin in The Secret of Hunter's Inn. And this was written by Joseph Samachson, and the art was by Jerry Robinson. Well, that's it. Hope you stayed with me. It's probably the longest video I've ever done. Let me know what you thought of the covers and the trivia and the t-shirts and all the other stuff. Did you know that about Dr. Doom? Go on, give me a comment. Remember to enter my giveaway. Link below. Not long to go now before an address goes on that box. Thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment please. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.